Guys, excited today to talk about consultations that actually convert. And I believe that there are some can't miss elements to making sure that you are getting at least a 70% conversion rate, right? That is the benchmark that you want to go after. And I really believe that there is elements that you can't miss, because we know that a key factor in your patients getting amazing results in your med spa hitting revenue and growth targets is greatly dependent on what happens in the consultation room. And so I'm going to be sharing with you my 7 steps to delivering a 5-star patient consultation. It really can make all the difference in the world for your med spa. And I want to break down those can't miss elements that you have to make sure that you are hitting in the consultation. And it really could mean the difference between getting a patient committed to getting started and you never seeing them again. It could mean the difference between them being undertreated, right? It could mean the difference between them going to another med spa. And so let's dive in right away and check out those can't miss elements that you got to make sure that you are hitting in the consultation room. Now, some of these may seem obvious, and a lot of these things you are probably already doing, but I don't want to skip over them, because really, if you miss any of these important elements, it could make all the difference in you actually converting them or not. So the very first thing is the first impression, the energy that you are giving off, right? Passion and energy, they are contagious. So you got to show them that you want to be there. You have to show them that you want them to be there as well, and you are interested and excited to help them. That means, you know, your waiting area, your front desk, your patient coordinator, your obviously your providers, right? Everyone has to have that contagious energy. The next step, step 2, right, has to do with your paperwork and orientation packet. Now, this seems like an obvious and a no-brainer, but a lot of people are missing very important elements and or not actually using the information that they are given. So, for example, are you getting marketing and photo consents, right, at the time that you are doing new patient paperwork? Don't wait until you have an amazing transformational treatment and then ask them for consent to use their photo, right? You want to make sure that that is taken care of beforehand. Another one is, are you utilizing an aesthetic interest questionnaire? This is so important, because how frustrating and annoying is it when you have a patient that tells you, oh yeah, I got my, Sculptra down the street, and you're doing her Botox because they didn't know that you offered Sculptra, right? Or maybe you do their devices and they do their injectables somewhere else, or vice versa. There's just no reason for it. But the reality is that you likely missed something along the way, right, to know that that was a need or something that they were interested in. So that aesthetic interest questionnaire is absolutely important. Are you utilizing an authority builder folder, right, that shows what makes you guys different in specials and menus, right, and your referral program, maybe your membership, maybe your patient financing, right? What is that you can present to really stand out and offer them a really first-class, high-class experience? It adds to it at the end of the day, right? The next thing is engaged dialogue. So I want to break this down, because this really starts to get into the nitty-gritty of things. And the first one is utilizing the information that you got from the aesthetic questionnaire and going a little bit deeper, right? So if they check all these boxes and they're only in there for a Botox appointment, then you're going to have to continue to ask follow-up questions that you are going to gather information to be able to develop that comprehensive treatment plan recommendation. All right, now these next 2 things that I'm going to be sharing with you and how to really get in good engage dialogue is two of my favorite tools. So the first one is utilizing a mirror, a hand mirror, handing that to your patient and having them look at themselves in the mirror and then ask them, what do you see when you look in the mirror? Or what do you like about yourself? Now, this can be very intimidating for some, but you'll notice the way that I ask it, it's not like, tell me what you want help with, tell me what you hate when you look in the mirror. You position it in a very positive light, right? But what do women automatically start doing? They shred themselves. They say, I don't like this, I don't like that, I see this, right? And that begins to kind of paint that picture and story of how you can help them, right? What services they're going to be interested in. And so I love the mirror, right? And then the second thing is taking before photos. Most people only take before photos after they get a commitment because they want to show them their end result. I like to use before photos because it helps me to get a commitment to my full treatment plan. So when you take the before photo, you actually will utilize that and highlight and show them, okay, so when you had the mirror in your hand, you were telling me that it was your crow's feet that is really starting to bother you. So when we take your before pictures and then you circle it and you highlight it and you make it bigger, right? It's like pouring salt in the wound. So they're having to see it, they're having to hear it, they're having to talk about it with a stranger or another person, right? It's really exposing their pain points, right? And it's gonna show how ready they are and committed they are to getting a result. So you want to use the mirror and you want to take that before photo. And then you want to mirror the language that the patient is using, right? So you're really smart, you've had all this training, but if they are using different terminology, you want to use the same terminology and not talk over their heads, okay? So you want to restate, you want to verify, and you want to clarify to make sure that you understand exactly where they are right now, exactly what they're interested in fixing or getting help with, getting treatment for. Restate, verify, and clarify. Now, one of the questions that I love asking if they're in there for a device, right? For, let's say, for the face, one of the questions that I love to ask them to get them to include injectables in their treatment plan is, how quickly are you looking for results? And of course, everyone's like, yesterday, today, immediately, right away, right? I have this coming up. And then that is the perfect opportunity to be able to then recommend injectables in conjunction with their, laser or device that they were originally in there. And then you are able to combine those instant results, or very quick results, with injectables in conjunction with working on what's beneath the surface of the skin, right, at the cellular level with those devices, and then telling that story of how powerful combining those two modalities is going to give them the result that they're looking for. All right, step number 4 is you're going to ask permission and pre-qualify. So my favorite question that I think you can't miss in getting that first micro commitment is, if I was to map out a plan to help you to get the results that you wanted, would you be interested in following it? Right? I haven't made a recommendation yet, right? I've only uncovered pain points and why they're here, what they're interested in, right? And I made sure that we're on the same page and they know that I understand what exactly that they're interested in doing. And so now I need to get a gauge, right? Like, how important is this to you, right? Are you ready to finally get the results that you're looking for? And that's the first micro commitment that you want to ask them. And before you begin to go into what the recommendation is, I want you to credential your practice and or the provider, right? Why they should choose this. Because remember, everyone has injectables, everyone has devices, right? Even a lot of the same brand devices. So if you don't want the conversation to just be about price, right? And we don't want it to be about price, we want it to be about results at the end of the day. then you have to give them the information so that they can focus on that, right? Your training. You've done thousands of these treatments. Look at your before and after pictures. Look at you have 400, Google reviews. Why should they choose you? You have to be able to credential yourself as a provider and or your practice. All right. Number 5, now it's time, the fun part, right? And developing the treatment plan. Now, I often see most providers do a really good job with developing the treatment plan. Some may forget to make sure that they recommend skincare, right? Or make sure that they're using all the tools in their tool belts and recommending maybe a combination of different modalities or adding injectables or devices, vice versa, right? Depending on what they initially were in there for. But what I often find people forgetting about is one, managing expectations, right? Giving them that real extensive, complete timeline, pre, post procedure protocols, what that looks like, when they can expect results, and really anticipate those frequently asked questions that come up for those treatments. So in getting ahead of that and getting micro commitments along the way as you are explaining your recommendation. Now, something that you should keep in mind is that you want to, on average, the goal is try to get 20% of whatever you're recommending to be also in skincare. Now that may vary a little bit depending on if you're an esthetician or, an injector or someone that just does devices, but that is an industry standard that you want to shoot for. And you want a written recommendation, right? Because this, it's from your gut, but for the patient, it's like a foreign language for some, right? Certainly elements of it, or certainly maybe like reading an encyclopedia, right? And I can't take it all in at once. And so I need to be able to listen to you, but then refer back to it, right, on paper, and even leave with it at the end of the day, with specific instructions, timelines, money, all of it needs to be written, right? And the 6th step in the 5-star consultation is closing. So many people have challenges with that they are killing it in the consultation. And then when it comes to closing, they fall short because they're afraid to ask for money, because they pass the buck to their front desk or someone else on their team, because they aren't vibing with the patient. And so maybe they go ahead and think about it. My pet peeve when I hear that. And so I want you to figure out, as a provider, or when you're doing your consultation, what is going to be your go-to closing statement or question that you can deliver with confidence time and time again. So I'm going to give you some examples. Can I get you started today? Would you like to do the package or the membership? I love that one. It's called the either this or that close question. Okay. It's not, did you want to get started today or did you want to think about it? No. Everyone leaves with something. That's why I love that. Did you want to do the package or did you want to do the membership? Shall we get started with the package, and then we could follow up with, doing injectables in 4 weeks or whatever you guys talk about. Okay. That's one way that you can really make sure that you're checking that box, is to figure out what is my go-to close question, right? Some of it depends on what services that you're talking about. Some of it depends on if you're a med spa that's really about your membership or it's really about packages, but you need to figure out what is your close statement. Another one that I am just on fire about is using financing calculators to offer monthly payment options. There's a lot of different financing companies out there. Cherry, Affirm. I'm super familiar and a fan of Cherry. I love the dashboard that they provide for their clients to utilize that financing calculator. You can even automatically send that treatment plan to your patient so they have it all right there. So what that could sound like this. The treatment plan investment is $2,200. And if you utilize our monthly payment option, it could be as low as $187 a month for 12 months or $327 for 6 months based on approval. Would you like to see if you qualify for a monthly payment option? Now, notice I did not say, are you interested in patient financing? The reason being is there is a stigma sometimes with patient financing, right? Like if I am quote unquote poor, then it's like, oh, you think I'm poor? You think I need it kind of thing. And it's embarrassing, right? If I am an elitist, right? I'm so offended that you would think I would even consider or need or want patient financing. So I don't like to use that term, but who doesn't love a monthly payment, right? That's so much better than just forking over thousands of dollars right then and there. I don't even have to think about it. Everything is on a subscription, membership, monthly payment option, and we don't even think about it, right? And so for me, like I hear $2,200, I'm smart with my money. So I'm thinking like, oh, okay, do I really need this? Do I really want this? I'll talk to my husband about it because it's over that threshold where we talk about things, right? But $187 a month, $327 a month, I don't even have to think about that, talk about that. Yep, sign me up. Let's do that. So use that verbiage. The treatment plan today is $2,200. And if you utilize our monthly payment option, it could be $187 a month for 12 months or $327 for 6 months based on approval. Would you like to see if you qualify for a monthly payment option? Guys, learn that verbiage. Learn that scripting. Have it written down in a card if you need to, and all you got to do is fill in the blanks. I promise you, you will close more high ticket packages, way more high ticket packages if you utilize your monthly payment option plans through financing, whether that's a firm or Cherry, it doesn't matter, right? Learn how to use those payment calculators that all those financing companies have available for you, all right? Okay, now you want to make sure that you have answers to the frequently asked questions or the objections that you know that you're going to get, right? A lot of them has to do with money, talking to our spouse, and there's certain things that you can do along the way, knowing, anticipating these things are going to come up based on what you learned when you were doing the very beginning of your consultation and getting to know them and their pain points. So you got to be ready for that at the close, right? And make sure that you have turned over all the stones, answered all the questions, and then now you got to get a yes or a no. Get a yes or a no. There's nothing worse than hearing like, oh, let me think about it, right? I got to think about it, because guess what? You pretty much can just mark that as a no if they say, I have to think about it. Even if they say, I have to talk to my spouse, oftentimes it's not the real objection. It really isn't the real objection at the end of the day. You likely missed something in the consultation, okay? Now, if they do say no, or then you need to then go back to see why did they say no, right? Is it a money issue? Do they not believe that this could get them the result that they are looking for? Figure out why they said no, because you still have an opportunity to get them started, to get a commitment, even when they say no, if you know the true reason why they said no. And you can't be afraid to learn what that is. And this is not being pushy, okay? This is gathering the information so that you can help them make an informed decision, or frankly, you can get better in the consultation room, right? So if they say no, and you learn that it's a money issue, one, have we explored patient financing or that monthly payment plan? Have we explored our membership, or can we downsell from there? Okay, so based on you sharing that you wanted to get rid of X, Y, and Z, I recommended this treatment plan, that's needed, these 3 treatments plus this skincare and these injectables. This is what it's going to take to truly get the result that you shared with me that you are looking to get. But I understand that budget, is a consideration. Now, you are going to need all of these treatments to get that result. But what if we got started, right, on the package of 3? Or what if we got started with the injectables, and then, in 3 months or 6 months, when your budget allows, then we can come back to phase 2 of the treatment plan. Does that sound good? Now, if they say, no, I still don't want to, then it's likely that they don't believe that treatment plan can get them the result that they're looking for, right? Otherwise, they'll be like, okay, yeah, that sounds good. We can get started with that, right? If it truly is just the money part of it. And remember, most people, when they give you their budget, they're likely willing to spend about, 20% more than what they actually said that is in their budget. So keep that in mind as you are creating their treatment plan. But try to get an answer, right? Don't allow the let me think about it to just walk out of the door. If they say, let me think about it, and they're firm on that, I would ask a follow-up question. Say, if money wasn't a consideration, do you believe that this would give you the results that you're looking for? Again, because you want to have that gut check. You want to be confident in your recommendation, right? That they believe that's truly the result that is going to make them happy. And if they do believe that, then you've done your job, right? You've absolutely done your job at the end of the day. If they can't move forward with it because money is the issue, right? And they can't qualify for patient financing, then you don't lose any sleep about that. But you want to really check to make sure that you truly understand what the real objection is, and if there was anything that you could do to support that or overcome it before you move on. All right. Once you get that commitment, it's really important. That final piece is to plan and execute those next steps. If you recommend this treatment plan that involves, 4 or 5 appointments, make sure that you get all of those appointments actually booked, right? Don't just do one and then at a time as they come in. You want to book out the whole treatment plan. Now, if something come up, that's fine, right? Life happens. But you want to try to get that whole treatment plan booked, and you have to educate them on the importance of keeping the schedule, keeping the timeline. If things shift by a couple days or a week, that's fine. But what you don't want is you don't want it to trickle on and get months in between. I'm totally guilty of this with my Botox, in the sense of not keeping an appointment. And I could be really good and do it every 3-ish, 4 months, right? And then sometimes it's like 6, 7, 8 months have passed, right? And that is not going to give you the best results possible. And it's not good for the med spa either, right? So you want to keep the entire treatment plan penciled in and scheduled when you can. Get a deposit or have them pay in full, right? You want to make sure that those terms are explained and that you have that dialed in. What is the company policy on that? And that the patient leaves with their treatment plan and instructions, right? This is going to say the frequency or the interval of their appointments. It's going to have their skincare instructions. It's going to, let them know what their downtime is going to be. This is part of that first class experience. This is also part in making sure that the patient really knows and understands their treatment plan, right? That's going to give them a better result. That's going to make them feel like you have properly prepared them, right, to get the best results possible. So you want to make sure that they have, if you're an electronic charter, right, I hope that you can email and send them or text them their treatment plan. Or if you're an old school paper person, send it home in a nice folder with them. They need to leave with their instructions. And finally, do you do 2-week follow-up calls? What is your process? What does that scripting sound like? What are the valid business reasons that you're reaching out to them? That is something that needs to be well thought out. That is something that needs to be strategized. Too often we're just checking. Well, one, most people don't do it. The second thing is when they do it, they're just checking in and say, hi, I just want to make sure everything's going good. Give us a call if you have any questions. It absolutely can be more custom to make them feel like, you really care, right? About them and the results that they get. So, I just wanted, plant a seed or a note about something specific that happened in their treatment that makes them not feel like just another number when you leave that message or when you have that conversation with them. Give them another tip or another reminder, or if they didn't add that second skincare product that you think that they needed, that's another opportunity to plant those seeds. As you continue to plant those seeds, they're going to grow over time, right? And they're going to get better results. They're going to be more loyal to you. All right, guys. So those are my 7 steps to delivering a 5-star consultation. I'd love for you to opt into the full complete scripting and training. I really give you like 80% of the consultation. You just need to customize it and fine tune it to that matches your patient journey, right? Depending on, do you have a patient coordinator doing consultations? Do all the providers do it? Who's checking out? Who's rebooking? Who's making sure that they are pre-qualifying them for your patient financing so that you can go ahead and make a recommendation on that monthly payment plan? So powerful, right? And so once you have that patient journey mapped out, you would easily be able to customize and implement my 7 steps to a 5-star consultation. It will pay you dividends, guys. As a marketing and consulting company, I often get asked, like, what kind of results can I expect, right? And at the end of the day, the cost per lead, the cost to acquire a patient does not vary that much, whether you're in a small town, a mid-market, or a very large city. It really doesn't change that much. The biggest difference in return on investment with your marketing dollars is what happens in the consultation room with those patients. 1, are you converting them at all? 2, are you doing just one and done front-end offers that they clicked on? Or are you really delivering a 5-star consultation, uncovering all their pain points and making a recommendation of a comprehensive treatment plan that's going to give them transformational results, right? And you show them a vehicle of how to be able to do that treatment plan on their own timeline and on their budget, right? And that's the biggest difference on return on investment in marketing dollars, is really what you do with those patients, right? Are you turning and burning through them and not rebooking them? Are you converting them into high ticket packages? Are you converting them into a membership so they come back again and again? It makes all the world's difference. All right, guys. So if you love this training, make sure you share it with your team or another med spa that could benefit. You can catch the replay on my YouTube channel to get access to more free trainings that will help your med spa grow. Be sure to visit my link tree in my social bio and join me live every Wednesday, guys, right here, same time, same place, finding me on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook,